MikeDurbin.com. You can get the WCW-esque Conan in that K-Dog Wolfpack style. Man, this Conan might be Bendy of the Year right now.
I really told you. Yo. Let me speak on this. Mike Durbin Productions exclusive. Conan, I was the most impressed with Conan, man. It's like undercover Bendy of the Year. It's a really nice figure. The do-rag is freaking awesome in person. I love the exclusive with the WCW packaging. I love this one with the camo. It's really nice.
And I will say a figurine expert who went to TJ on Friday, Matt Cardona, put it over as being a good figurine as far as figurines go.
Yo, hold on, let me speak on this. Exclusive Mike Durbin Productions, K-Dog. Look at that, listen to K-Dog, keeping it 100, logo on the back, MikeDurbin.com. Get it right now. Low key might be Bendy of the Year. Go get it.
Well, everybody's probably, I mean, this thing's gone so viral. But basically, Roman comes out with the bloodline and Paul and stuff. Roman looks kind of agitated. He does his acknowledge me. The crowd won't acknowledge him. They're booing him. So he threatens and says, basically, I'm going to leave. I've done my appearance. I'm good. See ya. So basically, he starts to walk away, and Paul Heyman's like, wait a second. He's going to be coming out. Let's talk about The Rock. Like, you can't leave. So he goes over and, just lays, with his hands on the ropes. It's very disinterested, and The Rock comes out. The Rock is dressed like he's the old school Rock with the nice Versace shirt and slacks and stuff like that. It's like the Hollywood Rock. Basically, he cuts a promo on they're in Glendale, Arizona. He says this like 10 miles from Phoenix. And in Phoenix, the number one place for use in the United States. Is that accurate, Joe? Can we fact check the record?
I'll take a trip to Phoenix and find out.
I think look it up, right?
I thought you wanted me to physically go and go undercover.
Right. So basically, he cuts the promo on the fans, on Cody and Seth, and says that there's going to be a tag match at WrestleMania, and it's going to be The Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth night one. If they win, then the bloodline is barred from ringside. They're not going to be in the building. It's just going to be one-on-one. And if they lose, it's going to be bloodline rules, which means anything goes.
Phoenix does indeed rank number one in the U.S. for
Rush.
It sounds like you're on a delayed guy. Can you hear me?
Right.
So it's that Phoenix does rank number one in the U.S. for more than 23% of the Phoenix population has used.
All right, that's good. The first part was good. Continue.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to hear that.
And also the top for use 15%.
23%, like one out of every four.
Yeah.
That's 23%. That's like one out of every six or seven people are using. That's just Conan. Imagine you go to a wrestling show in a locker room, and a quarter of the boys are on.
He's probably been at some of those shows.
That's an astronomical number, to be honest with you. Like if you're in a room of 100 people, and 23 to 20 of them are using. That's unbelievable. That's amazing.
Just go. Remember, Conan did work for XPW.
Interesting. So basically, The Rock says they're going to end with his line, "If you smell," but the Roman grabs his arm, stops him, and says, "I need something from you. Acknowledge me." And Rock takes his glasses off and looks him in the eye and says, "Roman Reigns, my family, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief." And they shake hands and hug. And then he hands the thing to Roman and says, he does "If you smell." And then he says, hands the mic to Roman, what the bloodline is cooking. What did you think of the second, Conan?
Well, I had read somewhere that The Rock wanted to do that thing he did in front of his trailer, the 21-minute one, on SmackDown, but due to time constraints. And I'm like, bro, he took about as much time in the in-ring as he did in the promo. Why didn't he do that in the ring? And then if you notice, the sound kept going off and going off and going off. And I was like, what's wrong? This is Fox TV. And then I later read that some guy had a Rocky some sign.
Die.
Yeah. Bro, let me just say this. He didn't say it on the air, but the fact that he said your story in that first one, that's Jamaican horns and pyro.
Right.
Bro, how about the publicity that he gave Dave LaGreca?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Bro, and then Dave came out and he totally spazzed.
After the Rock promo?
Yeah. He
relationship with The Rock. So The Rock called him out,
right?
and it was funny. And then,
Bro, find that, Joe. He did it twice.
Had down over the Rock, buried him on the promo.
Yeah, like he went off. He out, and then he did another one that was like a day or two later, which was like a minute and a half long. Just sounded. Huh?
You know what would be hysterical, Conan? If you brought LaGreca in,
right?
Put him in the bathrobe in the t-shirt,
right?
Okay, like he's in his mom's basement. Have him manage QT Marshall and have him cut one of the promo just like they were screaming and put the subtitles in Mexican. And I think he would get over in Mexico.
So
here you go. This is the second one. The first one's like 7 minutes.
This is a little cringy because it just sounds like every mark, like, oh, I've my wife trying to tell people, oh, yeah, I do have a wife or a girl. Listen.
The Cody crybabies aren't who you think they are, Rock. All right? They're not these people that are losers that he likes to label as losers. They're grown men with careers and families that are fans and love Cody. Let me tell you something. This pink robe that I'm wearing, this pink robe ain't my robe. It's my wife's robe. I just got finished to my beautiful wife, Violetta. And after I was done, I put her robe on. I sat down and I did this show, Rock. You want to say, we'll go into that another time. But I'm telling you this. You think we're losers. All right? We're not. We're winners. You just hate us because we drowned you out. We took you out at the main event of WrestleMania, pal. You thought you were just going to walk right in, and everybody was going to bow down and say, oh, The Rock is back. Screw Cody in his story. That's not what happened, pal. I don't even like it. How does it feel that you had to change your personality? You had to change your character because the one that you had, the tired one, they didn't want to see it anymore. The fans are over it. There's a new man in town. That's Cody Rhodes.
What do you think? How would you rate?
I'm just like, why would you get that passionate about, wrestling and Cody Rhodes? You know what I'm saying?
So,
at your age,
it's for numbers. It's for numbers.
I'm still surprised at the level of how over Cody is. To be honest with you,
yeah.
He's
remember how badly the audience was treating him.
Well, it's
from the second half of his AEW run, the
path that he took to get to his spot was abnormal, to say the least. Because the WWE usually brings, when people leave the WWE and go somewhere else and they come back, there's kind of like a feeling, like a period of time there where they kind of like maybe pay their dues and they punish them, or and they just put Cody into the top spot. And maybe because the wrestling, there's so much wrestling tribalism. With the fans of the WWE and the fans of AEW who kind of like fight each other, they were like so like, okay, hey, we got one of your guys, like like pointing the finger at AEW, ha ha ha, he's our guy now, and they're just like they just supported him to the moon. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't. I mean, he's a good character, but you didn't you wouldn't have like lined up like all the professional wrestlers that could have that spot and like looked at Cody Rhodes and said like definitively, like that's the guy for the spot. Now, mind you, he's been fantastic in the spot, but I'm just surprised that maybe it's just the WWE when they put the Rocket under their top babyface and they never let him get beat. This is just kind of a conditioned response that the fans will have, that they'll just like he's their guy. You know what I'm saying? Like they did a good job of pushing him. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen both sides because I went to a Dynamite in Philly and it was when Cody was there. And Cody, I don't know if he did this everywhere, but you walk into the building and right to your left was Cody shaking hands with all the fans and thanks for coming out and all that stuff. And I remember specifically because there was like a dad with a couple of kids in front of me as I walked in. And I was like, hey, look, there's Cody. You guys want to go say hi? And the kids were like, no, not really, and blew it off. And then, a couple of years later when I was there for Raw, Cody got, and SummerSlam, Cody got some of the biggest reactions I've ever heard. So it's a big flip for the reaction he used to get.
Well, bro, I mean, I think that it's the way I see it. He was there. He did some corny promos, which didn't enlighten him to everybody. Him standing at the thing, shaking people's hands, which people had told me about, which was mega JoJo, like fans could see through that, and the wrestlers. Then he comes to WWE, and there's a little bit of what Glenn said. Hey, he's back home now, in the big leagues. Plus, let's face it, they did a great storyline with him and Lesnar where he was really tough. He looked tough in it. He took a whooping and he came back and then he broke his pec, pulled his pec, whatever, and all that. So, a lot of some good promos. So they've done a good job with him. I will say that if LaGreca is doing that for numbers, good job. If not, that looks very mega markish. And I think that there's when Conrad was on the show, like the hardcore guys, like they know that Rock or found out that Rock, or maybe Cody told them that Rock tried to go in there and kind of Bigfoot Cody out of the thing. And now they're all like, oh, well, that's not fair. And, Cohen. So there's like this hardcore thing behind it, which is kind of spread over to the casual fans. But I thought in this in-ring, Roman, they kept showing him getting mad and all that. I thought it was great when he told Rock, acknowledge me. That they waited for his response, because he could have told him to go himself, or you didn't know what he was going to say. That was mint.
Right.
And then he said, I do acknowledge you. But then again, he did the L again, which the first time I heard it, I was like, who gives, maybe whatever. But he did it again, so that might mean something. Yeah, and I like him getting heat by saying that he made professional wrestling cool again, when all the wrestlers backstage, it was them. But so this is great. I'm all in.
It's a similar reaction to, it was 10 years ago at this point, where they brought, and Batista's not The Rock, but Batista is who he is, Guardians of the Galaxy, all that. They brought Batista back. They thought the fan base was going to be all welcoming. Big Batista main event for the belt, and the crowd wanted Bryan.
Yeah, but he's still not an
Cody,
Rock.
No, Batista's not Bryan. Nobody is, but